Hello, everyone. I'm doing reading response 5 for the week 5 reading materials. So let's get started. The first article I wanted to go over was that everyone uses the singular they, whether they realize it or not. Two main ideas. I did not know that words can take on so much meaning in regards to gender and sexual orientation. I never considered, when, and I don't know if I have done it, I have to review some of the papers I wrote, that, by eliminating he or she, by incorporating they as just like maybe a singular form, I never knew that that could take the perception of um, the he or she. I just never knew that it was being used correctly. Uh, I never realized that they was used to represent he or she in a singular context until I read the article, and I thought of the ways I had used it. The article has two views on it. One being that it sounds illiterate, and second of all that it's actually going to be it's so widespread now that they is going to be incorporated, uh, and it's ultimately going to prevail. I also never knew that they had so much gender referencing when you use it. The next article I wanted to go over was Karen the bus monitor. One main idea I took away is that the language is learned, and these kids had learned these words and their associated meanings from someone because they were very comfortable using these words. And then the other main idea I took was that unsupportive messages that these kids used. There's a number of them in the video, including sarcasm, threats, negative comparisons, and judgmental messages. Uh, my opinion of the article, uh, they first used the language to get a response from Karen and to get a laugh from their friends. And then, obviously their weapon of choice was the words and the words they used. The vulgarity and the profanity of their language surprised me. And then the more the vulgarity and the profanity and the extent of the words they were using, it almost like they were one-upping each other. I mean, they started off slow, calling her uh, a sweaty pig and I think fat ass, which those are really bad. But they escalated. They kept on escalating every time to the point where the one kid said, "I hope your family kills themselves because they don't want to be with you." Uh, and then Karen, she attempted to use the words as a defense mechanism, as a nice defensive tactic, saying like, if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. Um, but they kept on, like I said, the language is hurtful. The words escalated. There was direct attacks to her personal life and her family. You know, calling her poor. You know, I was just kind of amazed that you know it went to that extent. Um, One connection to another student's post. I really liked what Darby Shelby had to say. He brought up a valid point, and he stated in his that he wondered what kind of parents do these kids have, and why were these kids so at ease with being this unkind and hurtful to another human being. And I wondered that after reading Darby's post, I thought to myself, man, you know, I wonder why they're so at ease at using these words in the way they did. Um, I mean, I don't think it's just as easy as saying that the kids were little jerks and stuff. I wonder about their family life and the relationship to their parents. I mean, do the parents even know? I would love to know the reaction from the parents after watching this video. And I just, man, I just didn't. I was kind of uncomfortable when they, there was name calling, but then they were making fun of her like financial situation and calling her poor and making fun of her handbag and asking her that or telling her that her family should commit suicide. I just thought like making fun of someone, it's like one line in the sand, but all the other stuff that they were doing, they totally crossed it, and that just kind of really bothered me after that. Um, and then if you check out my post, I did Google like what happened to these kids, and I mean there's kind of some surprising updates about what happened to these kids. The next article I wanted to talk about was Soul Pancake Compliments. Uh, Two main ideas that I took away from the readings was one main idea I took away from this video is that words can be a supportive messages, which are messages communicated in an open and honest and non-confrontational way, which could bring people together. And then the second main idea is that verbal communication can be used to express thoughts and or feelings towards an individual. They draw conclusions from past experiences to express emotions, which I thought a lot of people did when they sat up there. Um, my opinion of the thing was that Soul Pancakes Three Compliments was on the other side of the spectrum after watching the Karen the Bus Monitor, and it just shows you how words can make someone uh, feel good. I believe everyone's compliment was genuine and could resonate with everyone. Every I felt like every participant used specific words to identify exactly what they wanted to convey, and one of the most powerful tools in the English language is how we use it. You can use words of hate, or you can use words to uplift someone. I really thought um, it struck a chord with me because I like the fact like the son was able to express to his dad what he meant to him and what the dad thought of his son. Um, I also thought the I think it was the boss and the employee, or the people who were getting married, and the mother and daughter. I mean, not if you think about your day to day life, you um, nobody really grabs the opportunity to tell someone or compliment someone and tell them how much they mean to you and how you made a difference in their life. The next article I wanted to go over was how you pronounce Muslim says a lot about your politics. Two main ideas. Language is powerful. The spoken language can influence and alter and transform the perceptual world, and effective language can be intentionally used in relational context to create or enhance interpersonal bonds and can be used in public speaking to engage audiences and motivate them in particular ways. The effective language is clearly what Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were trying to do. They were trying to create an interpersonal bond with the Muslim population to uh, to motivate them in a particular way to get them to vote for them. I never knew there was a right way to pronounce Muslim and Muslim, and the videos that Tony supplied were great examples of that. I also didn't know that, and this was straight out from the article, that those on the left pronounce these words the way Native Arabic speaker would, as a way of signaling their sympathy for the American Muslim population. They're indicating they identify with this population and they have their backs. And then they considered, if you say Muslim, it's kind of like the Muslim hating Republicans. I never knew that it was so extreme between the two by saying Muslim and Muslim. Uh, I just wanted to thought that the pronunciation is code for Islamophobic, and the left is making their opinions and politics known with a simplest shift in pronunciation of these two key words. I mean, I never knew just by altering the word that little bit that you could really change someone's thinking as to if you're considerate versus a hateful Republican. Uh, the second article, or the fourth article I wanted to go over was now that white people have declared "bay" over black people can use it in peace. Two main ideas that I got from the reading was "bay" would be considered to be a slang word, which is new or adapted word that is specific to a group, and then neologism, which is a newly coined word that was just brought into linguistic existence. Uh, sorry, a couple opinions I had in the article. I didn't know recently until recently what the word "bay" meant. Uh, I always thought it meant to signify someone that you're romantically involved in, but according to the article, it could be consider. You can use it in consideration to people that you're not romantically involved with. Say you're at a restaurant, you can say, "Hey, babe, can you pass me this?" To a waitress or something. I always thought that it was either linked to a significant other, or you could use it as in a crush, like if you have a crush on a celebrity. I never knew you could use it in a different context than that. Uh, After reading it, I didn't even realize that supposedly the white people butchered the interpretation so much to where now it's just a mainstream word. Then the last article I wanted to go over was the APA language. Two main ideas was that language and culture biases can go together. A couple opinions. I never knew that there were so many rules for reducing biases, and how many different aspects they apply to, from transgender gay, elderly, nationalities, and the mentally ill. Another aspect of the article uh, that words you can use can preconceive something. For instance, a perfect example was they said that 8 members failed to complete the exam may signify someone's shortcomings. They said it would be more appropriate to use saying that the 8 members did not finish the exam, which, after thinking about that, I guess, yeah, if you carefully manipulate the words, you could um, have people think of them in a different way. Because if you do say failed, you're thinking of someone's shortcomings. But if you say did not finish, that could alter someone's thinking. So that was my reading response for week 5. I apologize for talking fast. I am working on it, and I hope you enjoy everything. And then if you guys have a chance, check out my post for the Carrington Bus Monitor and the updates I put on there. So hope to see you guys soon. Bye.